Pastor K50. That's Pastor K50. 100% of your contribution donation will go to help the hungry, clothe the naked, build our communities. We're supporting St. Jude Children's Hospital. We're supporting Shriners Children's Hospital. Make sure that you follow, share, and like us today. We have a great show for you today. It is Thursday, August 13th, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And welcome. Well, hey, we're here today. Want to let you know that our telephone lines are open. Had to get something there. Our telephone lines are open. Not only telephone lines are open, but our pot chat is open today. I said our pot chat. I mean our chat pod. You know, you get tongue-tied, tongue-twisted, all that type stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's about time to get into the news. But before we do that, let me give you a little information. Happy to announce that we still have a few units left for those of you who want to cruise 2021, April 19th to the 23rd. Now we're beyond the $25 per person deposit. So now it is a deposit that you have to pay of around $100 to $150 per person. Total price of the cruise is around a little bit over $300 per person. Includes all of your meals, all of your entertainment, April the 19th through the 24th, leaving out of Miami. You want to go to https://destination unlimited travel, the number 4all.com for our website. If you're still wanting to book the cruise, you can call 1-800-569-3913. Use code KEV2021. We'll be happy to service you on that. If you need car rental, airfare, any type of travel, we're happy to service you. On our webpage, you not only can go to our travel page, but you also can go to our healthy living page. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us both our Clapback Nation, also our Healthy Living page, and our Destination Unlimited page. Become a fan. Think about supporting us. Make sure you follow and share. Let someone know about Clapback on the air. So let's get to it. All right. So before I had spoken about it, I brought it up as an issue. I wanted to give us time to marinate on the fact that we have an African-American female that has been that has been selected by Joe Biden to join the Democratic ticket to become hopefully our next vice president. This is one of the most crucial elections of my lifetime, in that there's a lot of things, and I'm trying to figure out how to really delve into this subject today, because the topic of our subject today is Blacks must support Blacks. Now, some of you might see that and you may say, oh, here's a Black supremacist, here's a racist, and it's not that. What I want Right America to understand is that if you all are saying all lives matter, all lives can't matter until the least of us matter. And we know that in society, Black people are the least. I mean, people from any land could come to America and gain a higher status than us. Remember, the Constitution said we were 3/5 of a person. We weren't even considered a full man. We weren't 5/5 of a man. We were 3/5 of a man. So when we say things like Black Lives Matter, when we say things like Blacks must support Blacks, we are not saying that no one else should support anybody else or that Blacks need to have favoritism. The Black community is in crises. We're in crises from what has been perpetuated upon us through slavery. We are in trouble because of what has been perpetuated on us through our own community, and we are at an impasse. And one of the phenomenons in the Black community is that we have a hard time supporting one another. And so we are trying to uplift Black people so that when we win the fight of equality, we will be able to handle the equality that we've rightly earned, that we should have been given. One of the worst things you can do is to give an unprepared person a reward, to give them money or to give them position and power, because if they're not ready for the position and power, they will abuse it, misuse it, and not appreciate it. And so we need to, as a community, build the Black family, the Black minds, Black women, Black men, Black children. We need to build the Black community so that we can begin to have self-esteem and quit putting each other down. You have the Kanye West situation going on, where a Black man is not only working against other Blacks and disenfranchised individuals, but he's working against himself, and he acts like he doesn't even know it. So when we look at this phenomenon, we see that white America has engrafted him in. And when I say white America, I'm thinking in terms of the racist faction in America. The racist faction in America that has said, well, we will allow Black people to speak against themselves. We allow Black people to speak against themselves and say the things that we want to say, but we won't say them. We'll let them say them. And so they give platforms to people like Candace Owens, Kanye West. But one of the most powerful platforms is social media. And I've been seeing some social media posts that concern me a great deal. What I've been seeing is a lot of negativity. You expect negativity to come from the Republican Party. You expect negative talk about Kamala Harris to come from white people. But what you should not expect is that our own people are downing her. Doesn't mean you have to agree with her. Doesn't mean that you have to like her politics. Doesn't even mean that you have to vote for her. But to bring up issues that are not relevant and issues that defame her, that bring her character into question, and outright put her down as a woman of color, and a woman. So I read a post where a young Black lady, she got upset because she had made a post saying that she doesn't like Kamala Harris because she helped incarcerate more Black men and people of color than anyone she knew. And because of that, she was going to vote for a liberation candidate. She doesn't like Trump, but she's going to vote for a liberation candidate. Now, there are two issues that I have with that. And let me say that anyone has a right to vote for whoever you vote for. Let's establish that. But having said that, there is a level of responsibility and there's a level of maturity that we must approach this. Number one, if you're posting things on your social media, you really can't get mad at the comments that you get when people dissent from your opinion. Because when people dissent from your opinion, they're dissenting for a reason. And the issue that I have, and let me deal with this, the issue that I have with her philosophy and her train of thought is this. When you vote for a libertarian candidate who you know has no chance of winning, what you have done is thrown away your vote, and you've actually assisted Donald Trump in winning the next election. Because you have to think in terms of what is best for you and then what's best for the country. Any rational, sane person knows that we cannot have another 4 years of Donald Trump. So Kanye West goes out and he's trying to get on the ballot. Jared Kushner and people in the Trump campaign and Republicans are trying to get him on the ballot. And notice what they're doing. They're targeting black people and telling them to vote for Kanye West in the hopes that votes will be pulled away from Joe Biden. So here it is again. We have a group of people using misinformed African Americans to work against their interests because they are trying to prove a point that they have a right to think for themselves. One of the issues in America today is our selfishness. Just because you have a right to do something doesn't mean you should do everything that you have a right to. Because you have to think about the damage that you're doing to yourself, to your family, to your children, and to your community, and to the United States of America. And I said to her, I replied back to her post, and I said, this would be equivalent to someone saying, I'm hungry, but I don't like McDonald's, so I'm just gonna take my money and throw it out the window. You got no benefit from it, even though it's your money, you can do whatever you want to with it. You got no benefit from the money, you threw it out the window because you didn't like McDonald's, you were hungry. But instead of making a rational decision and saying, well, I may not like McDonald's, but I'm sure I like hamburgers, or I'm sure I like whatever. Welcome to the show. I'm sure I like whatever. So instead of wasting the money, I'm going to use it to a benefit. When you take your vote and either you don't vote or you vote for a libertarian candidate that you know cannot win because there's no one at a decent enough rate. Yes, you can call it. There's not enough people at a decent rate for that libertarian candidate to win. You are fundamentally wasting your vote. So I asked her, I said, now, why do you hate Kamala Harris? And again, she stated because of the number of people when she was the Attorney General in California, the number of people that she put in jail were African American and people of color. And my question was to her, did she abuse her power? Did she convict people, innocent people, or did she convict convicts? You see, we as black people cannot be people of lawlessness. If a person does a crime and they're caught, they have to pay the penalty for their crime. How can you not like Kamala Harris for putting people in jail that broke the law? She didn't do what white people do. She didn't convict people unjustly. Well, you may say, well, she gave some longer sentences than the other. But we know as individuals, if 10 people did something to you, if 10 people did the same thing to you, You don't judge every person the same way. If your brother does it to you versus your mother versus your aunt or your uncle or your cousin or your friend, or there are circumstances that dictate to you that you don't mete out the same judgment for the same situation. You have to consider all details. So if I have two people that are caught with drugs, and one of the people have been before my bench 3 times, and the other, this is their first time, of course, I'm not going to penalize them the same way. You see, when you don't have all of the facts, you make all of these assertions and assumptions that are not reality. And you get caught up in this political cesspool, and you make a decision that hurts yourself, hurts your family, your children, your community, and it hurts the United States. To say you're not going to vote for Joe Biden because of Kamala Harris, because you don't like her, is a vote for President Trump. Why would you throw your vote away? Yes, Kamala Harris is she's Joe Biden's pick for the vice president. Why would you throw your vote away on a candidate that you know cannot win? In America, even though we have a libertarian party, we really only have a 2-party system. We have the Democrats and the Republicans. There's never been a libertarian that has won or even came close to winning an election. So voting for a libertarian person, you're throwing your vote away because it means nothing. They barely get 20,000 votes. So, or however many votes they get, they don't get millions of votes. So whatever vote that you vote for them, you're throwing your opportunity away to make a difference. We cannot take 4 more years of Donald Trump. And any vote that is not against Trump, any vote that you don't cast, if you don't vote for Joe and you stay home, or if you vote for a libertarian candidate, you have wasted a vote and you've actually given a vote to Trump, because Trump's people will vote. 98% of his people are going to come out and vote. And if we don't come to the polls, we're going to have 4 more years of Donald Trump. And I want you to think about this. If Donald Trump in his first 4 years has been as corrupt as he has, knowing he had to run again for an election, how much more corrupt will he be when he knows he cannot run again for office? If they couldn't stop him with the threat that he could lose the election, if he gets back in office and knows that he can't run again, what won't he do? This is too serious to be throwing votes away on Kanye West. This is too serious to be throwing votes away on a libertarian candidate. This is too serious of an election. Our livelihoods are at stake. If Trump gets back in, there's a possibility of anarchy. There's a possibility of war. There's a possibility of rioting. People losing their lives because you want to exercise your right to vote for whoever, and you're not being objective. You're only being emotional because you don't like a person for doing their job. What you're essentially saying is that you wanted her because she's a woman of color. You wanted her to let people of color go free that were guilty. That is not the law. We are not lawless people. We are not lawless people. We are not lawless people. And if we become lawless people, then it is the demise of the Black community. One of the greatest tragedies in the Black community is that we have such a high crime rate. We're only 13% of the population, but we represent the majority of crime in America. We represent the majority of crime, and we know that crime is committed against people that you live around. But we're killing. There are posts on Facebook where young kids are shooting and killing each other. We're committing genocide. We're selling drugs in our community. We're downgrading our women. We're raping and molesting our young boys and young girls. We cannot continue to do this to ourselves. We have to wake up. We can't, in our communities, we have this thing where we say snitches get stitches. But when someone murders a family member of yours, you want everyone to tell. But you're afraid to tell who robbed that home. You're afraid to tell who committed the murder. Many times in the African American communities, we know who committed these murders and we won't say. And yet we are perpetuating crime in our community. We know who is selling drugs in our communities. But we won't tell for fear that we'll be an outcast. For fear that we'll be an outcast. Welcome to the show, Vinny. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good, dude.
Great.
How are you?
I'm doing
So, what
great.
are you saying about Kamala?
So we're talking about Kamala Harris being Joe Biden's pick for the vice president.
Joe
Did you
Biden?
see that
What
in the
is
news
Joe
in your
Biden?
area?
No, what is Joe Biden? Like you said that word, right?
Joe Biden. So Vinny, I told you, man, you got to start watching the news, man. You don't watch the world news. You got to watch the news because listen, here's the issue with people who are saying, what's up, Chill Will? When people are saying that they're not going to vote for Kamala Harris because she did her job as an attorney general and locked up, yes, black and brown people who got caught. I can see if she was doing what white people do and abused her power. But when you take your vote and you vote for a libertarian candidate, you're throwing your vote away because you know that that libertarian candidate has no way of winning the election. So any vote that is not cast for Joe Biden, if you stay home, if you don't vote, if you vote for a libertarian candidate, if you vote for Kanye West, you've made two votes. You voted against your own interest and you helped Trump get into the office. We've got to stop this madness saying that number one, we're putting down a woman of color and a woman. Instead of African Americans joining around and being glad and celebrating the fact that we have an African American woman who has been nominated and been selected by the nominee to be the vice on the ticket, we should be celebrating that instead of trying to pick her apart. We've got to quit pulling each other down. So what's going on, Vinny, is that here in America, you have a lot of black people saying that they don't like Kamala Harris because she was an attorney general in the state of California. She arrested a lot of black people when she was attorney, but these were people who got caught with drugs.
What is attorney?
You don't know what an attorney is, Vinny? A lawyer?
No.
A lawyer. Man, Vinny, I told you, man, you got to start doing your research, man. But as a lawyer, she locked up people that got caught. Now, look, if you're a criminal and you don't get caught, hey, okay. But if you get caught and you did it, how can someone get upset because you were sentenced? There's no proof that she gave black people more time than she gave white people. She was a fair prosecutor. But now we have black people saying that they're not going to vote for Joe Biden because they don't like her and they're working against their own interests. Because we cannot take 4 more years of Donald Trump in office. He has separated us, and I'm fearful that if Donald Trump gets in office, I believe that there are going to be killings, there are going to be riots in the street, there's just going to be anarchy. This man will do anything. If he knows that he's not got to run, he doesn't have to run for another election. If he gets back in this next 4 years, he will be the most corrupt president. He's already the most corrupt president, but he will be so corrupt, and the Republican Party will do nothing. Black people, brown people, poor people, women will suffer like never before. This is too serious for us to be playing these games talking about, well, I got a right to vote for who I want to do. Yes, you have a right, but you also should not be selfish to just make a statement and vote for somebody just because you have a right. You need to consider the ramifications of the 2020 election that's coming up, because this is a critical election. So I told the young lady, I said, look, you're saying you don't like Kamala Harris because of this. I said, that is the equivalent of you saying, I don't like McDonald's, but I'm hungry. And then you say, well, I'm not going to eat McDonald's, so I'm going to throw my money out the window. That's ridiculous because you didn't get any benefit from it. You say, well, it's my money. I can do with it what I want to, but it doesn't make sense. So anyone who listens to this later on and anybody else who comes on, it doesn't make sense to look at this woman's record and judge her for doing her job when there was never a report that she abused her position as the lawyer attorney general for California. She did her job like she was supposed to. She locked up criminals. And Black people, we've got to get away from this lawlessness where we don't want to tell on people. The only way we're going to lower crime in the Black community is we're going to have to start telling. We know who committed the murders. We know who broke in someone's house. We know who stole somebody's car. We are not a lawless people. We believe in the law. And the only way that society is going to allow us to be equal and to be a part of society is we're going to have to be civilized. And we can't be civilized. There's a video on my Facebook where there's these two young Black boys. They had to be about 18, 19 years old. They both had guns. They were arguing in the parking lot. One guy's walking away. He says, I don't have no beef with you, man. He's walking away. The other guy gets in his face. He puts his gun on the floor, on the ground. The guy's still yelling at him. When he goes to pick his gun up, the guy walks up to him and blows his brains out. Somebody was recording it. Young teenagers. We've got to stop killing ourselves. We've got to stop working against ourselves. Those of us that are responsible in our community, we're going to have to start standing up and telling the people that don't want to be a part of the community and don't want to do right, we have got to start stopping this. We got to call the police. You would want somebody to, Vinny, if I was breaking into your home to steal something from you, to kill you, to rape your mom, wouldn't you want the authorities to come and stop me?
Absolutely, I would want.
And if your neighbor saw who it was, wouldn't you want your neighbor to tell the police they saw who it was?
Exactly.
But here in America, there's a code in the Black community that snitches get stitches, so we don't tell. We don't tell who it was that molested that child. We don't tell who it was that robbed that other Black man's store and took their livelihood. We don't tell because we're afraid of being ostracized. We're in an election cycle that we
So
have.
basically what you're saying is that is Kamala, this is the vice president. She got some innocent Black people arrested, and also
Not
you're
innocent
saying
Black
that
people. No, it was not innocent Black people. The people she convicted were people who committed the crimes.
okay.
But Black people are mad because they feel like she prosecuted too many Black people, but these Black people committed the crimes.
Okay.
You see,
And you're also saying that in the votes, like one has to vote like after pretty much researching about like who is correct and who is not, right?
well, well, here in America, we vote based upon we vote upon our own likes and dislikes, our own political views, whether we want conservative or liberal judges, or whether we believe in abortion rights or gay rights. So whatever candidate aligns with our philosophy is who we tend to vote for. Most people don't do research. Most people just listen to what the news tells them. They don't do their own research to find out about the candidates. So it's if I was raised Republican, I'm Republican. If I was raised Democrat, I was Democrat. And I have no problem with a Black person or minority wanting to be Republican. I do have a problem with them wanting to be Republican now, because the Republican
So if
Party.
you are Republican and if you're wanting and willing to vote for Democrats, then
Well, the problem with being Republican right now is the Republican Party is backed by racist groups. They support violence against African Americans, minorities, and poor people. They only want to see rich people get ahead. There's no policies really to help people, to lift them up. And so, right now, anyone that is African American, minority, a woman, or a poor person, For the life of me, I cannot understand why they would vote Republican. I used to be a Republican because I used to believe in the conservative. I believe in the conservative values that they said we had at one point in time. We've gotten away from those conservative values because President Trump has spent more money than the last three presidents combined, and that is before COVID-19. So he's not a fiscal conservative. So uh, they haven't held true to the principles of Ronald Reagan and free market. They've let a lot of monopolies get formed. They've given a lot of money to wealthy, rich corporate czars at the peril of poor people. You have a lot of people, over 40 million people unemployed. People are losing homes. People can't get jobs. They're not doing a good job with the pandemic. Uh, there's been so much corruption. And so right now, the Republican Party is not the Republican Party of Abraham Lincoln nor the Republican Party of Ronald Reagan. So I'm not part of the Republican Party of the day. But my issue is any person right now, any person that can honestly say that they're going to vote for someone other than Joe Biden, I don't understand it. Because again, why throw your vote away to a libertarian candidate that you know has no chance of winning? Why would you vote for Kanye West, who has no chance of winning? When they're sitting up and the Trump family is talking to Kanye West, promoting him, and trying to get him on the ballot for the sole purpose of pulling away votes from Joe Biden so that Trump can get back in office. Why would you let someone use you like that? It doesn't make sense. You're working against your own interests. So, well, I'm about to get off here. Vinny, how you been, man?
Been
Chill
pretty
Bill, how you
good.
been?
It's just too deep for me, to be honest. Like
Yeah, I
whatever you
told
said,
Vinny,
too.
Vinny, I told you, man, when you come on my show, I told you we talk about real issues. I told you, watch the news, read the news, go on the internet, Google stuff, find out what's going on in America because we talking about stuff that's real because this is serious. Our country is in trouble, Vinny. America is in trouble. And so I'm trying to inform people and get the message out of the type of trouble that we're in. Do you not realize we're on the verge of possibly becoming a third world country? You got Russia, you got China, you got Korea. These countries can match us, and most of them can beat us in a nuclear war. If China gets together with Korea or gets together with Russia, China has billions of people. Okay, we have millions, they have billions of people, which means if we got into a fight with China, they don't care how many people die. All they got to do is keep sending people because they have billions of people. So if you got billions of people and you fighting somebody who has millions of people, you're gonna lose that war if you in the millions. They can strip away. Right now, people don't know that China is working with Russia and some other countries to stop trading with America. If that happens, America will collapse. America has been arrogant for so long that these countries now see the vulnerability of America and they're thinking about trying to bankrupt America. We already owe China billions and trillions of dollars that we can't pay them. They own us. And so that's why I say when you come on the show, man, go out there and look what's going on over here in America because it's serious for us. Our way of life can change in this next election. It's either going to change for the good or it's going to change for the bad. Because if this president gets back in the office, I'm afraid of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of the
So,
kill. This man he used military forces to go into our cities to stop peaceful protesters. This is with him knowing he has to win an election. What do you think he will do when he knows he's not going to have to run for office again? If they're killing black and brown people in the street now and they don't care, what do you think is going to happen when he knows he doesn't have to run for office again? He's going to do whatever he wants. And his people that follow him will do whatever he says do. So please, everyone, anyone who listens to this later, please share this podcast. Please talk to your friends. Please tell people who normally don't vote, get registered to vote. This stuff is serious, y'all. I've got some other programs that are going to come on the rest of this week. We're going to talk about some of the things that maybe y'all don't know that's going on from a financial standpoint of view, that's going on from things that's going on behind the doors in Congress and all type of places and things of that nature that you need to know about. It's very frightening and it's true stuff. This is not no conspiracy. We check out the references. We use point A references to check this stuff out. So, hey, Vinny, thank you, man, for listening. Thank you, Chill Will. Make sure you share and follow. I do appreciate you. This is Clapback. We about to be out today. Thank you for tuning in to Clapback. Clapback is brought to you by Healthy Living and Kingdom Keys. If you would like to support Clapback, do so at $Pastor K50. That's $Pastor K50. Or you can simply hit the Podbean Patron app right here on Podbean. Make sure you email Clapback at clapback770@gmail.com. It's clapback770@gmail.com. 100% of your donation will go to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and build our community. We're supporting the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We're supporting Shriners Children's Hospital. Be a part of that. Please share, like, follow. Let everyone know Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time that Clapback is on the air. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.